Although Tucker was pretty much a nobody in this crowd, his sister had a wonderful reputation and nobody wanted to say anything that would upset her. As for Kevin, everybody had heard the nasty things Jason Jones had been saying about him. Grandpa Steele had been watching all of this from his comfortable chair. As he looked at Kevin, he seemed to be in deep thought. It was as if he could see a little bit of his younger self in Kevin's appearance. When he arrived in Chicago years ago, Norman had no money and no status, but he made up for it with guts and determination. So Grandpa Steele wanted to see what Kevin would do to turn the situation around. Now that you mention it, I'm kind of curious. Who exactly is this sister of yours? Never mind. I'll just show you her gift and you'll know what kind of person she is. When he was finished speaking, Tucker opened the package and pulled out a beautiful set of watches. At first glance, it must have been worth a fortune. Not bad. But you didn't pay for them yourself, Kevin said with a mocking smile. Since I'm here to celebrate Norman Steele's birthday, I certainly wouldn't come empty-handed. Unlike some people. Tucker glared at Kevin and it was obvious he was talking about him. Then he took another present from the table and opened it. This is an authentic bust of the Greek god Apollo from over 300 years ago. It's to remind everyone of your eternal reputation, Mr. Steele, Tucker said proudly. The guests were very impressed by this gift, which must have been worth $100,000. There was no way that Kevin could do better. And it was sure to help his sister get her foot in the door with the Steele's family business. Even Dalton walked over to take a closer look. He definitely appreciated the craftsmanship. As Kevin watched, his smile grew wider and wider. What are you laughing at? Did you bring anything that's worth this much? I'm laughing at you, Tucker. Let me ask you, how much did you spend on this thing? $110,000, Tucker said as he proudly lifted his chin. If this were a real 18th century bust of Apollo, that would be a fair price. Unfortunately, the box is probably worth about as much as your gift. Kevin, don't talk nonsense, Lily said as she worriedly looked over at Norman Steele. What do you mean? Are you saying that this is a fake? Do you know where a bust like this would come from? Kevin, do you know how to appraise antiques? Kevin nodded his head in response to Dalton's question. The original bust is actually in Italy, he explained. That's the first reason I know it's not authentic, Kevin continued. But also, if you look closely, it's not even really marble. It's probably a plaster cast that was coated in urethane and painted to look like marble. It would make a nice bathroom decoration, but it's certainly not a gift worthy of a distinguished person like Mr. Steele. You're talking nonsense. How can you be so sure this is a fake? He had actually bought it from one of his uncles. Tucker just couldn't believe that his uncle would lie to him and put him in an embarrassing position like this. Believe what you want. He was tired of dealing with Tucker's nonsense. Kevin picked up the bust and dropped it lightly on the table. As everyone watched, the so-called marble bust broke apart into a dusty pile of plaster. The crowd gasped when they saw this. They'd all thought it was a genuine marble bust of Apollo from the 1700s. I'm sorry I had to do that, but Mr. Steele had to find out sooner or later. Then he turned to look at Dalton. After thinking for a moment, the next thing I have to say may seem a little impolite. Are you sure you want me to say it? Before Dalton could answer, go ahead, young man, just say it. I'm too old to care what people think. Thank you. That's very wise. I hate to have to say this, though. If you remember your mythology, Kevin explained, King Midas insulted the god Apollo and his ears were transformed into donkey ears as punishment. So there could actually be another meaning to this gift, especially for someone as wealthy as Mr. Steele. After saying this, Kevin turned around and looked Tucker in the eyes. Aside from the fact that this thing is fake, I have to ask you, why would you offer something like this on Grandpa Steele's birthday? When he heard this, Tucker's face turned pale, and sweat started to break out on his forehead. The members of the Steele family who were in the room were also very upset to hear this and turned to glare at Tucker. Tucker was desperate, and the only solution he could think of was to turn his attention back on Kevin. Even if what you said is true, my intention was to help celebrate Mr. Steele's birthday. But what about you? Did you come here empty-handed? If it wasn't for your wife, I'll bet you wouldn't even know that today is his birthday. Hey, Who told you I didn't bring any gifts? Kevin laughed as he looked at Tucker mockingly. On the way to Dalton's mansion, he'd already sent a message to Miss Wilson. He figured that by now someone should be showing up with his gifts. How can a lowlife like you afford to offer anything interesting? Did you stop off at the gift shop at the mall on the way here? That would still be better than what you brought. Then why don't you show everyone right now? What kind of trash did you bring? If there hadn't been such a big crowd, he really would have taken a swing at Kevin right now. Don't worry, we'll soon see, Kevin said as he crossed his arms in front of his chest. He wasn't worried at all. Kevin, what are you doing? We didn't bring anything, Lily whispered to him anxiously. They had just come out of the hospital and only found out a little while ago that today was Norman Sale's birthday. So where did Kevin find a present so quickly? Just then, there was a lot of commotion at the mansion's entrance, and someone announced, "Director Lexi Belmont of Williams Media has arrived." Everyone looked over when they heard that. After all, Williams Media was extremely well respected in Chicago. They all wished that they had a business relationship with the company. Everyone watched Lexi walk into the room. She was wearing a very professional outfit, and she was carrying a large, bright red gift bag in her hand as she walked quickly toward the head table. "Lexi, what are you doing here? Did you forget to tell me something? Why didn't you just give me a call?" Tucker welcomed his sister warmly. He was very puzzled by all of this. He was originally supposed to come here today with Lexi, but she had something to do at the last minute at work. So she asked him to pick up some gifts and give them to Mr. Steele on her behalf. He certainly didn't expect her to show up right now. But to everyone's surprise, Lexi didn't even look at Tucker. After placing the huge bag on the table, she quickly walked over to Kevin. "I'm sorry I'm late, Mr. Williams. I've brought the gifts that you asked me to prepare," Lexi said anxiously, as if she was afraid that Kevin would get angry. "That's fine. Actually, you're right on time," Kevin said with a smile. The crowd was shocked to see this. Had she just walked over and apologized to Kevin? Some of them thought they must have heard wrong. If Tucker had brought gifts for Grandpa Steele on her behalf, what was she doing bringing something for Kevin to offer him? But now they clearly heard Lexi call Kevin, the outcast of the Jones family, Mr. Williams. None of this made any sense. But Lexi ignored all the whispering. After hearing that Kevin wasn't upset with her, she gradually relaxed. "Thank you, Mr. Williams," she said graciously. "No need to thank me. I appreciate your help, and I'm glad that you got here so quickly." "Oh, the pleasure was all mine, Mr. Williams." Lily felt her legs start to get weak when she heard this. Why was someone from the upper management of Williams Media being so respectful to Kevin? Tucker also stared in disbelief. His sister had worked her way up the corporate ladder, and it was only with her help that he had been able to get where he was today. But he had never seen his older sister being so courteous and respectful to anyone. Suddenly, Kevin asked slowly, "So, Tucker's your brother?" Yes, he is." "That's nice. Your brother may not be very competent, but he sure knows how to bully someone," Kevin said seriously. Hearing this, Lexi was suddenly very embarrassed, and she stumbled to reply. "I'm so sorry, Mr. Williams. It's all my fault." This made Tucker angry. "Sis, why are you apologizing to He's just that useless son-in-law everyone's talking about from the Jones family. Before he could say another word, she slapped him in the face. "Lexi, why did you hit me?" Tucker said as he covered his face with his palm. He was confused at her reaction. "What have you done?" she asked him sharply. "I really let you get away with too much. How dare you insult Mr. Williams?" She had known Kevin for a long time, but he had never said anything like this to her. That's why she didn't even bother to ask Kevin what had happened. Lexi knew right away that it was her brother who had been causing trouble, as usual. "But sis, Kevin's just a useless freeloader," Tucker tried to explain. "Shut up right now," Lexi yelled as she slapped Tucker on the other cheek. "I want you to apologize to him immediately." Tucker hesitated. He had no idea why his sister was talking to him like this. "Right now, apologize," Lexi said as she pushed Tucker over to stand in front of Kevin. He looked down at the floor and took a deep breath before he finally mumbled, "I'm sorry, Mr. Williams, that was wrong of me. Please forgive me." Everyone started shaking their heads. What a change in Tucker's behavior from just a few minutes ago. Kevin glared at Tucker. He was really sorry to have such an unpleasant scene in front of Grandpa Steele at his birthday party. But Tucker had really asked for it. Suddenly, Kevin's phone rang. He looked at the unfamiliar caller ID and frowned as he picked up the phone. Hello? May I ask who's calling? Mitchell Cook. President Wright, Emo, and Gilbert were all taken hostage by the Williams family. I was also injured, Drake said anxiously. Drake now understood how powerful Thomas Williams was. Kevin's uncle was someone that he couldn't touch, so if he wanted to save Mitchell Cook and the others, he needed Kevin's help. What did you say? When did this happen? An hour or two ago. They're taking them to the Williams mansion in New York. All right. I got it. Take care of yourself and leave the rest to me, Kevin said as he hung up the phone. Kevin, what's wrong? He could tell that the call had upset Kevin. Dalton, do me a favor. Call some of your men and come with me. Kevin's expression was especially grim as he tried to figure out what to do. The Williams family had actually dared to come to Chicago to abduct Kevin's friends and colleagues. If they could do that, would his parents still be safe in New York City? While Kevin was worrying about this, dozens of members of the Williams family were gathered together in the family mansion near New York City. Randall Williams, the family patriarch, was sitting in an armchair holding his hand-carved walking stick, the one that he liked to bang on the floor or a table to get everyone's attention. Cook, Adriana, Gilbert, and Emo were tied up and sitting on a bench along with Kevin's parents, Alan and Susan. Several of the younger members of the family were standing over them, ready to follow Thomas's orders as soon as he decided what punishment to inflict on them. Alan, Susan, you haven't taught your son very well. You've indulged Kevin and now he's offended the family one time too many. According to our family customs, his associates will be horsewhipped 40 times each if Kevin doesn't show his face here. If he does dare to return, he will be whipped twice as many times as a warning to anyone who would dare to oppose the family in the future. And you will also be punished for helping him. You don't know what you're talking about. My son didn't do anything wrong, Alan spat out, his eyes filled with determination. Oh, really? Big brother, do you have any idea how arrogant your son is? Father only wanted to teach him a lesson, but he fought back, causing the family to suffer heavy losses. And he will pay for what he's done. Kevin's parents were terrified. They had no idea where their son was, or if he could get there in time.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.